Some of the most meaningful jewelry you own isn't new. It's inherited. A ring from a grandmother, a necklace full of memories, but no longer your style. Duke's Jewelers reimagines family heirlooms into custom pieces you'll actually wear and love. Working one-on-one, Duke's designers honor the original story while creating something fresh and modern. Don't let meaningful jewelry sit unused. Let it live on beautifully. Visit Duke's Jewelers in Springville or online at dukesjewelers.com, where old stories become new treasures.
Derek Overstreet, founder of the New Millennium Group. We're a financial planning firm. We have advisors standing by right now to take your call. 888-999-6370. The reason you're going to want to call is we're going to help you retire 3 to 5 years before you thought possible. The way we do this is by putting together a step-by-step plan. So if you're one of those people listening and you'd like a plan in writing, give us a call at 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370, or go to utahsfinancialplanner.com.
Believe it or not, this guy actually has friends.
Nice.
This is Scotty G and Friends on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Back the other way come the Kraken with Bobby McMahon. Puck in front of Amelka. Bouncing around, and they score! It's McMahon once again. They are loving him here in Seattle. It's 2-0. Schmaltz gains the line with Gunther. Schmaltz all the way across. Cooley looks in. Shoots and scores! Another power play goal. That one coming from Logan Cooley with sniper precision from up high. Uyghur scanning. Sends this off the glass. Gunther collects and moves it back to Sergachev as Utah continues to cycle the puck. Uyghur overlaps with Sergachev. Feeds one in front. Rebound. They score. And guess who? Logan Cooley's got his second of the game. And we're tied at 2.
2 goals there by Cooley, and then 4 more added by the team as the Mammoth get the 6-2 convincing victory over the Seattle Kraken. Joining us now, one of our favorites, Jay Stevens, host of the Utah Puck Report. Jay, the Mammoth wanted to get that game. Seattle had to have that game. And the fact that they took him behind the whooping shed and just let him have it last night, just how impressed were you with that team?
I was really impressed by just not only the end score, but you had to admit you were a little nervous when they went down 2-0.
Oh, yeah.
And then it could have been 3-1, an amazing coach's challenge. You know that when Torini makes that challenge, you know he already knows that he's going to win it. I mean, he's very casual with those, but he hardly ever pulls the trigger on a challenge. So you know if he pulls the trigger, he knows what he's doing. But yeah, the rest of the game was just amazing. It was really good to watch. The lines are clicking. You know, they really did some retooling with the lines. That fourth line with Tanev and Kerfoot out there, it's surprising me how good that fourth line is at just being greasy. Stenlin's on that line with them, and they just don't take any hits. They've been matched up against other fourth lines, and they just seem to be having their way the last 2 games. So some brilliant things going on for the Utah Mammoth right now.
Jay, did you feel like, that game could have been a real good simulation for a playoff, with them nipping at the Mammoth's heels, and then, as you said, to get down. But what has struck me about this team is that really the success of this year has been they really haven't had that big, long slide. They've had some down times, they've had some tough times, but they've always rallied. Felt like last night it just meant a little more.
Yeah, and it's gonna keep getting that way. I felt the same way about the LA game with LA chasing and being in and out of that other wild card spot. These are the intense games that people talk about, and it's just gonna get more and more intense. The games matter for almost everybody that the Mammoth play for the rest of the way out. I think Calgary and Vancouver are the only 2 of the next 7 games that don't really matter to the other team as far as playoff chases. But yeah, you watch this team and you realize that all this potential that they've had up front, this high potent offense that everybody's known they've had, they just haven't, like last year and early this season, they weren't really exploding the way you wanted them to. I think bringing in Uyghur, who's a real quick at getting the puck out of the defensive zone, just gave them that little extra push they needed to get pucks moving fast. So now you've got Sergei and you've got Marino and you got the veteran and Ian Cole on the back end just doing really good things on the defensive zone. I thought it was crazy last night that the statistically the best defensemen for the Mammoth were the ones that were on the ice for both goals against. And that's, that's the Schmidt and John Marino, who have just had a stellar year. I think they're plus 35 or maybe plus 33 now. So yeah, I think they've really built the team the way they wanted to build it, so they could start exploring and seeing how much more offense they could get with this quick trigger defense that they have.
3 for 6 on power plays last night. 3 goals scored on power plays. Just really impressive to watch, especially as they got themselves back into this game. What's been the recent surge of this team in being so effective in the power play?
To just put it bluntly, it's shots from the point. And the shots from the point have opened up the bumper. It's something that Torini's been yelling about for a long time. And if you go back and look, I was just looking back 4 games now. With the power play, they've got 8 of their last 15 attempts, so they're better than 50% in the last 4 games. The PK has killed 18 of their last 19 penalties over 4 games. So the special teams are really clicking, and we've been talking about it. Probably every time I'm on the show, I say the power play has to get better. Playoffs are won and lost with special teams. And I've watched the practices, and I watch them work that bumper. But what's really worked, you saw a bumper goal last night. I think it was Schmaltz got a bumper goal, but they start getting shots from the point. So as they're moving the puck more, the defense has to kind of get out and challenge shots more. Now they don't know that the Mammoth are just going to try for that down low bumper play, because you've got Sergei firing shots from the point more, and you've got Uyghur's been throwing shots from the point. So once the defense pulls out to them, that creates that down low opening that they've been looking for all year. I think that's the difference, is they're finally getting shots from the point. And then if they don't score on that point or they create the chaos there, it starts to create the chaos. And then you get an open guy in the middle, which is that bumper play. And you're going to start to see that work a little bit more. So what I've been preaching all year is the same thing that I've heard Torini preaching all year, and that's to shoot more. And you're starting to see the Mammoth actually really do that. And the proof's in the pudding, as the saying goes. They're starting to get those goals.
So 7 games left with a 5-game cushion over the Chase Pack. And the beautiful part of this 7-game stretch is just 2 on the road. How big is that?
Yeah, it should be good. The Mammoth have struggled at home. And if you look at 2 of the home games, Edmonton is a tough game for Utah at home. I'm not going to say that's a scheduled loss, but that's a team they've never beaten. And then one of the best teams out of the East, which has clearly been kind of one of the best conferences, Carolina comes into town, and Carolina is a beast. They're a lot like Colorado. They've got great goaltending. They're really shut down high-flying offenses. They really push guys to the outside. So those 2 games at home are going to be a real struggle for them. But tomorrow in Vancouver, they should beat Vancouver. Vancouver did just put up 8 on Colorado the other night.
I saw that.
Which, nobody saw that coming. But then Edmonton, Nashville, Carolina at home. They go to Calgary for 1. They should pick that up, and then finish at home with Winnipeg and St. Louis. I hate to say it, but I think both those games are still going to matter. But that last week, those last couple of days, I think it's the Mammoth fans are going to be on the edge of their seats. The Western Conference, that wild card spot is it's highly contested, and there's a lot of teams within striking range. So the Mammoth just have to, I think they have to win 5 out of the 7. They'll be fine. I think 4 out of the 7 they could be fine. But I expect them to put up some pretty good numbers here.
So I was looking at the stats from last night, and Utah had 20, I want to say turnovers, but giveaways. Seattle only had 11. And so I was looking at, and so I thought, okay, well, where do they rank? Utah's 7th in the NHL in giveaways per game. Now, Carolina's up there as well. So good teams are still in that same kind of ballpark, but is that a concerning stat to you, or is that something that isn't necessarily an overly big issue?
I sold my car in Carvana last night.
Well, that's cool.
No, you don't understand. It went perfectly. Real offer, down to the penny. They're picking it up tomorrow. Nothing went wrong.
So What's the problem?
That is the problem. Nothing in my life goes as smoothly. I'm waiting for the catch.
Maybe there's no catch.
That's exactly what a catch would want me to think.
Wow, you need to relax.
I need to knock on wood. Do we have wood? Is this table wood?
I think it's laminate.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's close enough.
Car selling without a catch. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
It's definitely going to be a big issue in the playoffs. It's not as important during the regular season. I mean, obviously, puck possession is a big deal, but what's happening is our giveaways are, from them. The Mammoth tried to be really creative in the offensive zone. You see some really cool passes. You see a lot of, things that work in practice that might not work every game, and then you see them get bumped off pucks when they're in the offensive zone. When they get up against those bigger defense, that's where most of those turnovers come over. What I'd be really worried about if there were defensive zone turnovers or blue line turnovers, the Mammoth have been pretty clean with that. Like the biggest sins you can do in hockey are blue line turnovers, because the whole team's going the other way. And when you turn one over, it usually is an odd man rush the other way. So, and the Mammoth have been pretty good at blue line turnovers. I think most of the turnovers that you're seeing there, the giveaways, are in the offensive zone, with them just being over creative. And I think you'll see that shut down quite a bit during the playoffs. You'll see, they're still going to want to shoot more. They're still going to need to be creative, but they're going to have to really pick their spots during the playoffs, because it's going to be, every spot's going to be a battle to get to. And when you get there, you just got to shoot. So I think they're going to do all right with these turnovers. I don't think it's going to be as big as an issue as it is during the regular season.
Jay, I thought last night, and this is obviously big anytime, but Seattle, one of the things they do really well is avoid penalty, and the Mammoth are top 10 in penalty. I thought the penalty minutes, as you mentioned last night, the ability, to not be in there a bunch, I think just 6 minutes, and then to take advantage of the 12 minutes, to be able to score on 3 of those 6 power plays. I thought that was huge last night.
Yeah, me too. And that really was kind of some of the turning point, right? That's where you got some of the space in the score, and to see them get those power play goals is a big deal. Discipline's been an issue, and it's one of the things that I watch as I'm watching the game live. I watch all the comments too, and when they gave up the first 2 goals and it was looking like they were going to get penalties, fans were freaking out. Oh, this team's undisciplined, blah 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 blah. But and there is some of that, right? But as the season's gone on, I think the Mammoth have really done a better job at getting penalties. And one of the most penalized guys on the team is Ian Cole, which is usually a penalty that prevents a goal or prevents an odd man rush, where he's covering basically, or he'll take a penalty to get a face off in the zone. So some of those penalties are kind of misleading because some of them are necessary penalties. Right. But I think you are seeing more discipline. I think you're seeing a lot more maturity since the Olympic break, actually. I don't know what it was, but I think Keller's playing way more mature. I think Cooley's playing way more mature. And I think you're going to see that just keep progressing into playoffs.
Any update on Jack McBain?
I didn't see one, but they did call up another forward. So I'm not – they pulled up another guy from Tucson, so I'm not really sure what's going on with Jack McBain. I kind of tried to look at where that puck hit him. I didn't see if it hit him in the back of the knee or the back of the calf. Either way, there's not a lot of padding back there when he went down to block that shot. So you're going to have swelling. I can't see there being a break or anything, but I could see them, that swelling in your calf or on your knee. That's going to set you back at least a game.
All right, so we're talking about penalties. I was thinking about this last night. So hockey players, you guys are beat to hell all the time. I can't imagine there's cuts, there's bruises, there's scabs everywhere. So if you take a high stick, how hard is it to create blood even if there's no blood there? You know what I mean? Fake a little blood so you get the double minor?
I used to hear stories about that all the time, like the WWE, like guys would bite their lip or something to grab that extra penalty. I've never personally seen it, but there are a lot of times. Like I know when I'm playing, when I get through a season, especially if you're playing a lot of games back to back, like in a tournament style, like we used to have, and I'll take a couple shots off the mask that'll give me a fat lip, and a lot of players have fat lips, so all you gotta do is kind of suck on it for a second to get that blood going again. I've never really seen it happen, but yeah, you're right. The further you go in playoffs, the easier it is to find someplace on your face that's already cut. But again, that's where the whole beard thing started for playoffs. Is guys were just getting sick of having all these little cuts and nicks all over their face when they were clean shaven. And famously in New Jersey, Lou Lamoriello makes all his guys be clean shaven. And they were finally like, no, we're not doing it during the playoffs. We're growing a beard. And which is weird from a medic standpoint. I'm like, well, you can't suture that. You can't just put some super glue in there or some Dermabond. But yeah, there's always nicks and cuts on your face.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I keep super glue in my hockey bag. I can't tell you how many guys on my men's league team. I'm on 2 men's league teams. One of them is a bunch of doctors, and the other one's just a bunch of former pros and colleges. And I super glue all of them all the time. Like when they get cut, I just dry it off, throw some super glue on there. You're good to go.
I love it. See, these guys are tough, man. This is a tough guy. But it's interesting. I mean, I know the game for all intents and purposes was out of reach at that point. But when that double minor was hit on Seattle with 5.5 minutes left, and you got a 4-minute penalty, it's like the game's. I mean, that put the game. That was the death knell right there. You're not coming back at that point. And so if it's a 1-goal game or a 2-goal game, and you have a chance to really run out the clock, I could see a guy finding a way to create a little bit of blood to try to get those extra 2 minutes.
Whatever it takes to win, baby. They're going to do it. But yeah, and that was great last night too. And what was great about the end of the game that way, you got to see a lot of the 3rd and 4th lines. You weren't seeing 1 and 2 out there. You're seeing 3 and 4 out there. Carcone gets one off his back. So you just love to see the 3rd and 4th line get rewarded like that at the end of the game.
Vancouver's had their struggles. You mentioned they put up 8 against Colorado, but I'm not getting ahead of trying to get ahead of things, but if this team comes back off this 3-game road trip with 6 points, I mean, that's got to be a ton of confidence going into this home stretch.
Yeah, you'd think so. Any points you could get at this point, you keep watching the LA Kings. They've had 30 games go into overtime this season.
Yeah.
And to have, I think they have 20 points from overtime losses. It's unheard of. So man, you got to get every point you can. Everybody's scrapping. So they've got to take advantage of this game in Vancouver. Then they're home against Edmonton. That's the next game is Tuesday night the 7th against Edmonton. And that's going to be a game. If they can get 2 points against Edmonton, because I think most sports writers have said that's an Edmonton win already. So if they can pick up those points, they're going to really put some space and make it harder for the teams that are chasing. And just let them all fight for wild card 2 and just keep wild card 1 and move on.
As we go down the stretch of the season, we've been talking to Jay a lot. So now it's time for injury update on Jay Stevens. How are you holding up? Are you close to getting between the pipes again?
No, I won't be in the pipes until probably June, which gets me closer to one of my favorite tournaments. But I'm feeling great today. I'm going to the gym right after this for the 2nd time since my surgery. I plan on doing a full workout. I plan on shaving and enjoying myself at the gym.
No shame.
Yeah, but I'm on IR, so I'm not in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I gotta look pretty.
Gotta get that. You get a replacement surgery like that and get back out on the ice that quick or back in the gym, you're having yourself a hell of a recovery there, man. Good job. That's awesome. I'm
telling you, these doctors are amazing now. And yeah, I feel great. I haven't left my house really, but I'm going to start leaving my house today. Today's the day. 2.5 weeks out. I feel great.
Jay, you're the best, man. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, guys. Look forward to hearing from you.
All right. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
I sold my car in Carvana last night.
Well, that's cool.
No, you don't understand. It went perfectly. Real offer, down to the penny. They're picking it up tomorrow. Nothing went wrong.
So, what's the problem?
That is the problem. Nothing in my life goes as smoothly. I'm waiting for the catch.
Maybe there's no catch.
That's exactly what a catch would want me to think.
Wow, you need to relax.
I need to knock on wood. Do we have wood? Is this table wood?
I think it's laminate.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's close enough.
Car selling without a catch. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.